Never knew you could convert like that from a pot still to. I, did you guys make that up?
Yeah, our master distiller came up with that idea. I mean, we're scrappy and
I feel
we
like
make
we're giving.
do with what we have.
You sure you should be giving away these secrets? You're going to give competition some ideas, but that's really neat. You got two of these bad boys here.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the Whiskey Stop. We're glad that you all joined us. You just had a trip over to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and that was to visit a distillery.
That's right, Three Rivers Distilling Company. What a surprise when we got there. I think I'm surprised at every distillery we go to. I'm not sure what to expect because these are kind of in a way startup distilleries when you compare them to the big guys that have been around for decades and decades. What a beautiful place they had there.
Yeah.
First thing I think noticing going into the parking lot is the outdoor seating for the restaurant there. They have indoor seating for that as well. We got great tour of the facilities inside. Great people. They always are at these distilleries. That's because people love what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Absolutely. And obviously, like a lot of businesses out there, things have been very, very different for the past few months with them and the pandemic that's going on. So we wanted to find out a little bit about what they've been doing during that time and what's happening next for them. So hope you'll check it out with us.
We made it, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Three Rivers Distilling Company, and I have got a great feeling about this place. We've checked the website, and we're going to check it out for real inside. Let's go. In addition to making craft spirits, Three Rivers Distilling Company has a family-friendly restaurant serving up some truly delicious eats. But today, we're here for the spirits. This is the president of Three Rivers Distilling Company, Marla Schneider, and she talks with us about the history of the company.
It's we have three owners,
Okay.
and they were the risk takers and the ones saying that this needs to be in Fort Wayne, and so we're very grateful to their support. So this used to be Wholesome Bakery back in the 1940s until the 1970s.
So does this building date back to the 40s?
It does, yeah.
Wow.
It does, yeah.
I love to see repurposed buildings. How much did you have to change?
Quite a bit, yeah.
I bet.
This looks quite a bit different, and it's an ever ever continuing process. In
Yeah.
fact, right before COVID happened, we had built this wall that you'll see over here to make the space separate from the distilling floor,
Right.
and that was in order for us to obtain our beer and wine permit. And then allow families to be able to
Right.
be in here as well. So we had to build the wall to separate out the distillery.
Right.
And then, so it's just an ever-changing process for us to make this space more usable and functional for.
Well, you did a good
us.
job. So you just set it out on paper. I think we should do this here, and this here.
I pretty much
Because you don't want to have to
architect
do a
that,
do-over.
yeah. We do
That
not.
wall would have been better over here. Would not be a good
Right,
thing.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Luckily, we haven't had too many do-overs.
The COVID thing has changed, but you guys are still here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's changed the way a lot of people have had to do business. But you've survived this.
We've survived. So we had to quickly pivot into hand sanitizer, like a lot of distilleries did. We completely shut down our 100% grain to bottle production on spirits and focused solely on creating hand sanitizer for our community and really within a 300-mile radius of where we are.
I got to believe there's a big demand for that too. Was
Huge
there
demand,
not?
yes.
You couldn't find it on the shelves.
You could not find it, and it was far more great of a demand than we even anticipated. There were regulations that we had to follow very closely, so it was more keeping up with all of the changes that were being put out by the government,
Right.
and finding and sourcing the supplies and the raw materials to make it, whether it be bottles or alcohol or what have you.
Well, craft distilleries have had to deal with this
Yeah.
all around the country, so, and you were one of them. Whoever saw that coming,
We
right?
were one.
I love your restaurant out there. You guys are opening that up again on a limited basis.
Yeah.
Your food is fantastic. You've got a four-year birthday celebration coming up, right?
We had a 4-year birthday celebration on March 28th,
On March
which
28th,
we
okay.
missed because of COVID. So we are rescheduling that for mid-July, sometime after the 4th of July. We'll be rescheduling that, releasing our very popular and sought-after Cake Stand Bourbon, which is our birthday bourbon that we have. So we're really excited about being able to celebrate our 4th birthday.
You sourced everything local as far as possible, especially in the beginning. It was all
Yes.
from this area.
Yes, all from this area. So we were 100% grain to bottle, sourcing organic non-GMO grain from co-op farmers in Bluffton and Roanoke, Indiana, which is 30 miles away from our facility here. And then even our barrels are made in Fort Wayne, which is really unique. What I've found is having suppliers that I can, dial up the phone or text them.
And
get a
you
response
guys
right
know
away.
each other.
We know each other. I know how they're doing all of their processes. So it's a really good relationship to have somebody in your backyard where you can, talk to and make changes if you need to adapt at all.
Other than the stupid COVID thing, this has to be a fun job.
It's a great job.
Yeah,
it's a
I mean,
great job.
and you probably learn a lot of stuff along the way too,
Yeah,
don't you?
we do.
We asked Marla to show us how Three Rivers distilling spirits are made.
So this is where everything begins, basically. This is where the mashes happen. So you put the grain in here, add water, we're heating it up, we're stirring it, and then when it rises up to a certain temperature, that's when we hook up the crash cooling system, and we crash cool that down to a lower temperature where the yeast and the enzymes can survive and thrive.
Right.
Then we're putting it into a fermenting tank where it sits anywhere from 5 to 8 days while it ferments. When
I
that's
love that
done-
aroma that comes off that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
can't
good aroma.
smell it anymore.
You
but
can't?
No. I'm
You've
immune
smelled
to
it so long, you just can't. You
I
don't
can't
even
smell
know.
it anymore. Yeah. People tell me that my clothes smell like. But then we put the ferment back in here, and that's when we close the lid
Okay.
and distill it.
How is this heated then?
There's a heating, like a oil heating jacket
Oh,
that
okay.
surrounds it. So this turns into a big pressure cooker, basically,
Okay.
and that's distilling. So it's the alcohol boiling up off of the
Right.
mash before the water. And so it goes up as a vapor, recondenses. We usually have a parrot come off here, and then we
Right.
collect it into a tank.
Well, this is nice. I like this.
We went up as far as we could.
Yeah, I think you did, didn't you?
That's our vodka still. So we'll run vodka and rum through here. The rum, we won't run it all the way up. We don't want to take out and strip out all of those flavors from our rum.
What we look at next down the line here, pretty interesting, because you can use this as a pot still as well.
So it
Okay.
basically operates as a pot still. We can convert it back into a column still, and in fact, we do that in particular with this one, where we add the botanical basket on to do all of our gin. And so typically, these are running both as pot stills, and then occasionally we're converting this back into a column still with the botanical basket.
I never knew you could convert like that from a pot still to. Did you guys make that up?
Our master distiller came up with that idea. I mean, we're scrappy, and
I feel like
we
we're
make
giving.
do with what we have.
You sure you should be giving away these secrets? You're going to give competition some ideas, but that's really neat. You got two of these bad boys here.
Yeah, continuous improvement is huge for us here. Obviously, when you start off, you're not doing everything perfectly. So we're constantly looking to improve our processes and our products, the way that we do things, and using the pot still for a finishing run, especially on our bourbon. We're really happy with the distillate that's going into the barrels now.
And that's what
Yeah.
you need.
Yes.
Yeah, what goes in the barrel's got to be good.
Right.
Yeah, and then we wait.
And
then we
for a
wait.
long time.
All right. These are sourced locally too. Your barrels, are they not?
They are. So they're sourced from Ann Gray Cooperage in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
And kind of a unique business model that he has at his cooperage, where he'll go down to Kentucky and buy 42-month air seasoned wood from cooperages that are making the big 53-gallon barrels. If
Right.
there's a flaw on the stave of a larger barrel, they're scrapping that. He's buying their scraps and making smaller barrels for craft distilleries like
out of the staves
us.
that are left then.
Right.
So
but
nothing's
it's-
going to waste then.
Nothing's going to waste. They're air seasoned. They're some of the best barrels that
Isn't that nice?
you can buy. It's not kiln dried, which we've experimented with different types of barrels, and kiln dried adds
not-
more tannic acid into
Okay.
the spirit.
And you
which
don't
is,
want that.
You do not want that.
No.
So having the air seasoned wood is really ideal for us. These size barrels here are 15 gallons. We also have 30-gallon barrels. We do have some 53-gallon barrels that we sourced from the same cooperage in Kentucky where he gets his wood. So we're, staying with the same type of wood where
Right.
it's originated from. And then we started off with 5-gallon barrels when we were in our infancy. We're rarely filling 5-gallon barrels anymore. If we have a little bit of a gap that we need to fill,
Yeah, you can go
we'll
to
do a
that.
5-gallon, but it's very rare, and we try and stay away from that as much as possible.
Once you put the clear liquid in there, this is where your flavor's coming from.
Yeah.
And the wood, it does magic. It's not just the color, but the flavor that comes out of it.
Right. That's why it's so important where the wood comes from, because it's such a organic variable
Yeah.
that you're dealing with.
And then it's back to my favorite room, the tasting room,
We have a rye, yeah.
which is called,
Franklin B. Rye Whiskey.
now who's Franklin B?
So Franklin B. Is a former employee who we were kind of his retirement fund job for a while, and he decided to go into full-time retirement. But so Franklin B. is a former employee, and we named it after him because he is quite the character. He's very fun. He's very loving, and we wanted to have a whiskey with his
Wow,
namesake.
if I could have a wish, I think it'd have my name on a bottle of
Yeah.
bourbon. This is a 95 proof.
95 proof, 100% rye. So
Oh, this is
only
100%.
use rye.
That's
no other
it.
grains.
No corn, no malt, no
barley,
nothing, no
nothing.
part. Just wow.
100% rye. But I think you'll find it to be smooth.
And it just keeps going, doesn't it?
We have a bourbon that is called Third Time Bourbon. It's a wheated bourbon, so it's 60% corn and 40% wheat without any of that rye spice.
And you do have some other spirits too.
We do. We have a full lineup that's in distribution. So we have vodka, rum, gin, bourbon, the rye whiskey, coffee liqueur, and moonshine. So we have 8 different spirits that we distribute out to liquor stores and restaurants in Indiana. And then we also have what we call our artisan series, and this is more small batch experimental projects that we do here. And
That's
so
got to be fun too,
those are
isn't
really
it?
fun because
Yeah.
we get to play around in kind of the gray space. So we release those on a smaller basis. We only sell those here at the distillery, but if one becomes wildly popular, like this hint of challah, it's a jalapeno flavored vodka.
Yeah,
It's
I do that.
amazing, and a Bloody Mary, it makes a great kind of sweet and spicy fruity drink. With this, we're taking that artisan series small batch that we experimented with, and we are bringing that into distribution now and making much larger batches.
And it,
Everything that we do here is all natural. We're not using artificial anything, period.
not enhancing with an artificial ingredient.
Never. So we use real jalapenos. We slice them in half. We char half of the batch of jalapenos, and then half is raw. And that is what goes into here.
Yeah, there it is, right
Nice
off the
little
bat.
medium heat, yeah.
But it goes away too.
It goes
It's still there, but it's not.
It's not overwhelming.
This isn't something that overwhelms you and you're going. It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
And I can see how this would pop in a cocktail.
Our most popular drink in our restaurant is called the Heaven and Hell. It's made with this and passion fruit. So it has that sweet and spicy, and people just love that.
I know you make a gin as well.
The original gin that we had launched with at the distillery here before I had come on full time it had 13 different botanicals in it.
Yeah.
We changed the gin. I'm a gin fan, so I was
Are
really,
you? Good for you.
I was advocating towards changing.
Let's start a
our
club
gin.
because I like gin too.
But this is Lakeside Gin, 4 different botanicals, so it's not, overwhelming your palate at all. It's juniper. It's on our
Okay.
website. Juniper, hibiscus, lavender, and coriander.
Coriander's a nice spice
It
too,
is.
isn't
I
it?
really like
You
coriander.
find that in beer too.
Mhm.
Some beers. And that's different than any. I know it's gin, but I can taste the other flavors.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe with less botanicals, you can kind of not have them all fighting against each other.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's different. I like it.
it's different. Yes, I like it a lot. I've tried this gin because I'm a gin fan against
Against
countless
everything.
gins.
And there are
it's
a lot
up
of.
there with. It's probably in my top 3 or 4 gins that I would go to.
I do like that. Makes a good gin and tonic.
It makes a great gin tonic.
Yeah. But see, you know a good gin if you can just sip it,
Mm-hmm.
which I
And
think
you can
says
do with
something.
that one, yeah.
And you can.
Mm-hmm.
I've met gins you wouldn't do that with.
Right.
Yeah. We just bump elbows, me and some gins, but this is.
Yeah, some gins you have to drown it in tonic water.
I think the original gins were pretty much in your face.
Yeah.
The juniper was just
The
like it would come out and
juniper-
hit you in the mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a
I
Christmas
like
tree.
that.
And,
Yeah. Yeah. Really.
Yeah, and that's not. I mean, you
I
can
like
taste
that.
the juniper in there, but it's toned down.
And that's a 92 proof,
92.
and that's a 92.
Yeah.
Excellent. I like. It's still there.
Yeah, it'll linger. So Night Owl Coffee Liqueur. This is a very unique coffee liqueur. We use the minimal amount of sugar required by law to make a liqueur, which is 2.5% sugar. So this is about the most unsweetened coffee liqueur that you
So you're
will
going to get more
find.
coffee flavor out of there
You will
than,
get- it
than,
is
than
more
like
like-
you were making a mocha drink. Or
Yeah,
something.
it's more like your morning coffee. It doesn't coat your tongue with sugar. We use,
Ooh, that's really good.
We use beans from a local coffee company,
Do
Utopian
you?
Coffee.
Oh,
So
very
they're a
good.
great partner with us. It's their Obsidian blend, so it's a darker roast, and we cold brew those beans.
Oh, do you?
So it's cold brew coffee, Madagascar vanilla beans. So it's
Okay,
not an
that's what I'm
extract.
picking up in there.
It's the
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
actual vanilla beans. A little bit of sea salt and that sugar, and that is all that is in there.
Yeah, I can tell the vanilla
Mm-hmm.
and the coffee flavor work well
Yeah.
together. That's exceptionally smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And cold brew, you're leaving a lot of those acids behind. So
Right.
I think that's why it's so smooth
Yeah.
too. For those who have not had cold brew before, it takes a while, but the acids are staying upstairs while all the calmer stuff is.
Yeah.
Which is why it's really easy to drink too much cold brew. Before you know it, you're like this
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because it was so good. You just that's excellent. Spirit. If you could pick 2 spirits that are your favorite from what you sell here at your
Sure.
establishment.
Franklin B. Rye whiskey is my favorite. That's my
Okay.
go-to. And then being a big gin fan, I love our gin. I mean, it's a really good gin.
We're almost related because I would
Yeah.
pick those 2.
Okay.
These are all just excellent.
Thank you.
You guys put a lot of love into care in what you do,
We
and
do
that's
put a
what.
lot of love into it. Yeah.
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 And don't you find it easier in an operation that's not mammoth covering acres, that you're hands on with all of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are hands-on. I mean, we are a very small operation, so we're all chipping in as
Mhm.
much as possible, and we all wear multiple hats.
Right.
So we're all good friends, and we all work well together, and we
Think
have to.
think all the things you'd be doing in life, and look what you get to do.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
It's fun.
About this, if you're not a person that enjoys spirits, I don't know too many people that don't enjoy food.
Right.
What a great place to come.
It's a great place. We have a huge patio. In fact, most of the footprint of our restaurant is outside.
Yeah.
So especially during these times with COVID and socially distancing, and then also being in the summertime, it's a great time to come out, and we're dog friendly. We're now all ages, so it's fun, and we have beer and wine. We were able to obtain a beer and wine permit, so yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty much something for everyone here. And if you don't want to have a cocktail, you can have kombucha or a soft drink.
You know, I'm going to give you a big compliment here. I kind of wish I lived in Fort Wayne right now.
Thank you.
Because I'd love to have this to come to
Yeah.
anytime I wanted to. This
Yeah,
is great.
It's great.
Wonderful. Well, we can't visit a distillery without buying some of the product. I mean, it had a great tasting while there, but then I thought, you know what? I did have their rye whiskey over there, but this is the single barrel rye whiskey. So, and that's pretty cool. And their rye whiskey, we're looking at 95 proof, and I like when you don't bring it down to like an 80. Maybe that's just me. But you get you're really going to get a lot more of what it's all about there. So they're not messing around with that. And the rye that I tried there was awesome. I mean, it's just it's different than it. I think what we'll find out is ryes are different from each other. You can find some that the rye is kind of back here and some that are really forward. And I really liked this one. This is, by the way, I obviously should mention this is the Franklin B Rye Whiskey. So this is a single barrel, but you can also get the other rye that they have there as well. That is not the single barrel. So on the nose, and as you pick up the rye on that, and I can also pick up that it's 95 proof there too, which is not a bad thing. But it's a nice. You might even get a little cinnamon in there too, which you often do with rye, I think.
Yeah, that's a very pleasant nose.
And really, for 95 proof, you can actually put your nose right in it. You don't get any burn from that, which says something nice about that.
Smooth. That keeps going though.
It does keep going. The finish. I'm still getting the finish on that, and it's really this. By the way, this is 100% rye. There's no other grains in this.
Yep, that's right.
That's all rye.
No corn, no barley, nothing. Just
And that's
all
hard.
rye.
That's hard for a lot of distilleries to do because rye can get away from you and just overpower any little side tasting notes you might get.
That is really awesome. Now, I did see all the food on their menu too. You did bring some of that back too, right?
I didn't forget about you. If you go to their website and look at the food menu, oh my gosh, the food is excellent. And I wasn't sure what you wanted, so I got a little bit of everything.
Yep.
But you know, Fort Wayne's is a little bit from South Bend here, and I kind of got hungry on the way back. But I got the stuff the containers that came in, and you can have a whiff of them a little bit later. It was really good. Next time I'll buy extra.
I'll stick to whiffing this in the meantime.
Okay.
So.
That's great. I highly suggest Three Rivers Distillery in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they just celebrated, I guess, 4 years, which is awesome.
Yep.
Great people there.
Good people.
You're going to love them out there. People that work at these smaller distilleries, they love what they do. That's what keeps them going, and then the product speaks for itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing is their restaurant is open again. However, they're still working on the hours and what the consistency for that will be. So check their website for the times that they're open, or give them a call as well. We'll have the information at the end of this video and also in the description of the video as well. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and also check out our other videos as well. And I guess until next time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.